come and go with him. Matthew chapter 4, beginning at verse 18. Yes, have it say amen.
Amen.
And it reads, as Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew. They were casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. Come, follow me, Jesus said, and I will make you fishers of men. At once they left their nets and followed him. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, preparing their nets. Jesus called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. In Jesus' statement in Luke 9:23, the word follow in the Greek means to be in the same way with, to accompany. It means especially as a disciple. So Jesus' invitation to all who say they believe is that he wants them to come and be in the same way with him. Not just in a physical sense, but also as a disciple, a learner. Come and see what I do so that you can do what I do.
Amen.
Paul then goes a step further to describe what it means to be a follower of Christ. He says we are to be imitators of Christ. The word for follow in the Greek that Paul uses is the word mimetes, M-I-M-E-T-E-S. It means to imitate or be an imitator. It means to mimic or be an actor, imitating the conduct of someone else. So Paul is telling us that he is mimicking the life of Christ, and he is saying to those in Corinth, mimic me in the way that I mimic Christ. He's saying to all who belong to the Christian family that they must do as he does, because he is doing as Christ does, or as Christ did. You and I should be able to say the same thing to other Christians. Follow me as I follow Christ. Mimic me, imitate me. What you see me do, you do, and you'll be in right standing with God. And if you can't say that, something's wrong. An example would be when we see those people who say they are Elvis impersonators or Michael Jackson impersonators. They try to come as close to looking like, acting like, talking like Elvis or Michael as they possibly can. There are some folk that have gone as far as to have surgeries to look like Elvis, to look like Michael, because they wanted to impersonate them. They wanted to mimic them. They wanted to be just like them. And that is what Paul is saying to us. Now, nobody who went as far as these people may have gone to look like Elvis, talk like Elvis, walk like Elvis or Michael Jackson, none of them will ever be able to get it down perfectly and be exactly like Elvis or exactly like Michael, because there's only one original. But they try to come as close as they can to looking like, acting like, talking like, walking like, sounding like the one that they're impersonating. Same thing goes for you and I.
Amen.
We'll never be perfect. Jesus was sinless. We'll never be sinless, but we should be living this life as close to him as we humanly can, so that people, when they look at us, they should be able to say, he's a Christian. She's a Christian. I can see Christ in them. Now, if there's a person that says they were imitating Michael Jackson, and they came on stage and they had on a jumpsuit and some platform shoes, and they began to say, I feel good. You said, no, wait a minute, that's not Michael. That's JB. You said you was a Michael imitator. So if you're going to be a Michael imitator, you got to come on and do what Michael do. You got to go, you got to have the one glove. Amen. You got to have some hot water pads. You can't say you're a Michael imitator, then you get on the stage and sing James Brown songs. In the same way, you and I are to be imitators of Christ. Hallelujah. We should strive to look like, act like, talk like, walk like Christ as much as possible. Yes. We'll never be perfect, but we ought to look enough like him that even a stranger can look at us and say, he's a Christian. She's a Christian. There's times when I'm in the company of people and haven't even said a word to them, and they'll ask me, you're a Christian, ain't you? Or you're a preacher. And I ask them, what make you say that? Do I have preacher across my forehead? Well, no, just your mannerisms. You know, I'm holding a conversation with somebody, and they'll say, you must be a preacher. Why do you say that? You sound like one. What do you mean you sound like one? Because I don't walk around in the grocery store going, I think I'll take a can of corn. Yeah, and I'll have some of them peas that you got back there. Give me a leg of lamb. I don't walk around talking like that. I talk my regular talk. But people say, you just sound like a preacher. It is because I have begun to imitate Christ. I try to live my life like Christ as much as humanly possible, and therefore people are able to see that I am imitating, I am following after Christ. All of us should be able to say to other Christians, follow me, imitate me as I follow and imitate Christ. Now, next week is our celebration of Easter, or Resurrection Day as I prefer to call it. And in that message, we will see that Christ had victory over every attack that the enemy brought against him. And we are going to see that the ultimate victory came by way of the cross. That's what my subject is. By way of the cross, or through the cross. Without the cross, there is no